All right, here we go. Going through here. I love having my phone on the mount for this exact reason. But now we got a car right there. Whoa, 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 whoa. Found an escape path. Found an escape path. Slammed the brakes.
Did he brake check the rider on purpose, or you
No.
crappy driver?
Just a crappy driver. Just a crappy driver. So we're coming up to here. We have a red light. We have this big gap right here, big open lane in front of us. This lane is stopped. All lanes are stopped, but this lane is definitely going slower. This has a better escape route for this driver that isn't paying attention. So more than likely at this point, they look up because they're looking on their phone. They're picking their nose. They're yelling at the kid in the back seat. They're checking the directions on the phone. They're changing the radio. Whatever it is, they're just inattentionally blind to the whole situation. All of a sudden they look up, they see brake lights, they see the red lights, and like, oh crap, I don't have enough total stopping distance as a car driver. I'm going to find that escape path and go in there. So it's either they're going to crash into the back of these vehicles or they're going to go into this spot. Pretty common sense. I get it, but when we start looking at different perspectives, it makes sense. Now, if we're only looking from the motorcyclist, the question with Chaos Rider says, did he do this on purpose, or is he just a a bad driver? I'm going to say he's a bad driver because that's going to allow him to get more skill and become a better driver. Now, if it was just brake checking, there's some motive there. There's some saying that, hey, they're going to come out to attack us. They chose to brake check us because they pissed us off or we pissed them off or whatever it is. Now we're starting going down this negative cycle of mentality and something that you can't really get out of. So right here, I truly believe this person decided to come into this lane because they couldn't stop in time. They applied the brakes. And as soon as they applied really good progressive brake pressure towards the end and stopped completely, it turned green, and whatever it is, they couldn't accelerate fast enough. And we were getting into that position, and it felt like a brake check to us. So when we start to understand that, whole thing, so he's like, oh crap, I was stopping, wasn't paying attention again, and now we're going to accelerate. Now, if we understand the whole perspectives of both sides, it makes more sense. Okay, if that's what it is, that's what they did. Now, what do we do? Okay, they found an escape path. What do? We need to get ourselves in a better position. So when we get to this area, when they cut in front of us, okay, when we get up to here, instead of just, hey, we saw the green happen, we're just going to go ahead and continue maintaining our speed. What we should be doing is moving ourselves into a better position for safety. So either over there or off to the side, not on the phone, but off to the side right here. So that's the whole point of this, is that when we plan our ride, we're positioning ourselves into safety when the situation changes. This is definitely a hazardous situation. We assess that this was a relevant threat. We have to navigate it by putting ourselves in a better position and possibly braking, possibly finding an escape path. So if they did this innocently or unexpectedly, or they're being an a-hole, it doesn't change the fact that we have responsibility to move ourselves off to the sides and get ourselves in a better position for safety. That's what it is. At the end of the day, none of this really matters. Don't attach emotion to any of this. This is a situation that happens all over the world. Take care of it. You have a role to play. You have a responsibility to play. Just move over. Do whatever you need to do, okay? Don't attach emotion to this. You don't know these people. You don't know them. They don't know you. Now, they could be jerks, but that's fine because they don't know you. It doesn't mean anything to you.
Or he's just a crappy driver.
Crappy driver. All right, Street Bob 24, here we go, going through here. Good job with the position. We see the side of the vehicle. Are they creeping in? Are they creeping in? There it is. Good job on the swerve, but we saw them creeping in. We assumed that they were going to stop and let us through like they saw us. So when we come up through here, we see the red truck, side of the vehicle. We see this ahead of time. Our only thing that we have to worry about is what's in front of us. We see the side of the vehicle. We did the training. We know what we're supposed to be doing. We see that hazard. This truck driver, if we're thinking of his perspective, is that they're coming across. Their hazard is anybody coming in and T-boning them on the left side. Their other hazard is if they have any gaps right here, if they can get in so they're not blocking traffic, and they want to get across. So they have multiple different hazards, trying to navigate all these different things and trying to get across and everything. At the end of the day, should they be doing that if it's that complicated for them? No, they should not be doing that. They should be waiting. So impatience really puts people in a bad spot. But for us, okay, they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing, but for us, we see this. We should not be getting into a close call. We should understand that we're coming up to here. We see this person coming. We're going to intersect. We should be applying progressive brake pressure. Either let them in or wait until they purposely stop so that we can actually continue going. We didn't slow down. We didn't stop. We were hoping that they would stop right here and let us go, but the moment we see them not slowing down, now we have to make an adjustment. Make an adjustment back there by slowing down, kind of both coming up and be like, what are we doing? What are you doing? What am I doing? What are you doing? Oh, I get the right of way. Thank you for understanding that, and then you go ahead and continue going. Don't just be like, assume. Hey, what's up, asshole? No, it's assume. Not good. It should be, I'm assuming they're going to continue going. I'm going to slow it down. This guy's going to assume that this motorcyclist continue going, and I'm going to slow down. Or this guy didn't even see the motorcyclist. At the end of the day, we see the car driver, and we're going to slow it down until we can have a better option, and so until we can both see each other. So let's pay attention to that. Stop attaching emotion to these things, because that's not what happens. Okay, it's just a terrible situation with two people coming into collision possibly, and that's life. It's life.
Oh shit.
Oh, position for safety.
Oh, gosh. Woo!
Found an escape while fishtailing it. Good job. Handled it as best you possibly could with the situation you had. So we're coming up to here. I want you guys to see that when we're talking about position for safety, right now we're in the middle. Okay, we have left, center, right. I'm going to go ahead and put that on the board. Left, center, and right. Right now we're in center. We can't see around this vehicle. We have brake lights, it's across the hill and everything. So we don't know what's happening in front of this person. So what I like to do is be off to the left or off to the right. And so then I can see on the left side and down the right side of these vehicles. So I have a really good line of sight. And that's what I like to do when it comes to positioning for safety. So that's what we're talking about here, position for safety. We're looking for escape routes. We're looking for a good line of sight and a space cushion. And we want to make sure that we can continuously assess hazardous situations because our vision is now improved. So right here, I definitely wouldn't be over there. I'd be off to the side or off to the side. And what's happening is that when we apply the brakes, like this, now we're slowing down and trying to stop within the center. If I was over here trying to slow down and stop on this side, I could just continue going straight. The movement that he's having to do now is applying the brakes and still trying to move off to the side. That's almost too much. That's almost too much for a bike. We're talking about traction here, braking, and then also turning. It can be too much, and that's why he's fishtailing. That's why everything's going on like that. So if we started off in this position over on the left or over on the right, all we have to do is apply the brakes. If we're having to start here, maybe swerve off into the side and then apply the brakes. Instead of brakes, then swerve. I like to do swerve and then brake. You can do both. Whatever it is, buy yourself some options, but try not to do both at the same time as hard as possible, because that's what this looks like.
Oh, God.
Did great, though. It's almost like navigating a boat. He did great. It did very good. I'll give it to him.
Oh, my God.
Didn't crash. So that's a success. Doesn't have to look pretty. It just has to work.
I can smell the burning rubber on that one.
Here we go, going through the mountains. Captain ZX10R. Thank you, Chaos Riders, for putting these together. So we're coming up to here. We have crazy road surface hazards. We have a sharp turn coming up ahead. Slow it down. Ooh, going a little too fast. Oh, I was going to say he was able to slow it down enough.
Almost felt
to not crash.
The good thing is that he was wearing full gear. The bad thing is that it had to happen in front of a girl.
Yeah, I'm good.
Had to happen in front of a girl.
No, I'm good. No, I'm good.
So she's doing a quick assessment. I just want to kind of go over this right here. So we're coming up to here. We have a sharp left turn, road hazards coming up. You could see it's a sharp turn because you see these vehicles right here. So we should probably slow it down. Maybe that's our buddy. I don't know, but we're going to slow it down. Slow it down a lot more than this. And you can tell he's still trying to slow down in the middle of a turn. So he's doing his own version of trail braking, still too fast. So we're going to come up to here. We almost got it, but then we hit the gravel on the shoulder while we're still trying to turn. So not good. We slammed the ground. And then our sleeve got rolled up because it grabbed the ground. And hopefully we don't have any road rash on that left arm. But he's got some gear. I don't know about the pants. I don't know if those are motorcycle jeans or not. But if they are, they have impact protection and abrasion protection. So overall, just navigate that corner a little bit better. Slow it down before a turn because it looks like it's a sharp one. And if it's super easy while you're in the middle of the turn, then go ahead and accelerate.